What's going on, guys? My name is PJ. Welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about the importance of staying consistent with your purpose. And this is very personal to me. This is going to pull from my own personal experience in the past 2 years of 1 year following my purpose to a T. I feeling like I'm very productive and consistent with my purpose work, with my mission, with what I truly believe I am on this planet to do. And then year 2 of not following that and feeling like really like kind of like a failure in that department and understanding what that feels like. And now having these two perspectives from these two very different years, understanding them, feeling them, experiencing them, and sharing the contrast between the two, the discrepancy between the two, and what you may be able to pull from that experience and what I have been able to glean from those experiences in these past 2 years. So I am going to share with you these two different examples, these two different years, and we're going to look at them together and learn their lessons together. So let's start with year 1. Now imagine year 1, and we're not going to exactly say what year this is, but year 1, in this year you spent every day, every week, every month, purposefully following the path of your mission, purposefully, consistently showing up and doing what you believe is your purpose work. And we're going to talk about that later as to how you can find that for yourself. But imagine that you already have figured it out and you have been pursuing that faithfully for this whole year. You are showing up consistently. You are doing what you truly believe is your heart's truest, most real desire, most authentic desire for this life, for your mission in this life. And you have been pursuing that. You are showing up and you are like basically planting a seed and you're consistently watering it. You have already planted a seed. That seed is that inspiration, is that desire, is that purpose. And you have already figured that out and you have already planted that. And now you're consistently watering it. You're consistently providing it with sustenance, with sunlight, with everything that it needs to thrive. And as a result of doing that day in and day out, week in and week out, and month in and month out of this whole year, you feel this deep sense of fulfillment, this deep sense of contentment, this deep peace that nothing in this world can take away from you. It genuinely is unshakable. It's everlasting. It doesn't change with circumstances. And you feel like you are walking through life with your head held high, with your shoulders back. You feel confident. You feel certain in your purpose and in your mission and your worth in this life. And you just genuinely feel so confident and like proud, even if you haven't accomplished anything necessarily in terms of like the fruits of that seed may have not manifested yet. But just the act of pursuing it, just the act of watering that inspiration, watering that seed of your purpose, just the act alone has filled you with so much confidence where you walk through life with your head held high, feel so confident, feel so purposeful, feel so happy and content and at peace. It goes beyond just happiness. And honestly, it's like once you experience this, you realize that you've actually never experienced happiness, true happiness. It's like you may have experienced pleasure, but you may have not ever experienced this level of happiness, this true happiness, this deep contentment and peace. So that's year 1. And that was the result of you pursuing your passion and your purpose faithfully. And that's what the fruits of it were in your life and how they manifested in your life and what fruits it led to in your life, basically. Now, year 2, it's the counter to that. It's the opposite to that. So the year 2, in this year, you basically did the opposite. You did not pursue your purpose, your mission work, your passion, your passion work, your purpose, what you feel like you're planted on this earth to do. You did not pursue that. You let other distractions or excuses such as, oh, my mental health is not where I want it to be. I'm just not feeling it. I'm not in the mood. I feel like I gotta wait until X, Y, and Z situation, or my mental health feels better, or this and that, and X, Y, and then there's like a plethora of other excuses. And a really good book, honestly, a very life-changing book. I'm gonna make a video about this book next, as my next video, but it's called The War of Art. I have recommended this book to many of my friends, and in each of our lives, it has produced the same fruits. It has been super impactful. The War of Art is by a gentleman named Steven Pressfield. He was recently on the Joe Rogan podcast, so check that episode out. It goes a lot more deeper into purpose. And honestly, like side note, that episode was so incredible because it allowed Steven Pressfield, someone whom I've been studying, his works since 2017. It allowed him to go into the much more deeper spiritual implications of what he teaches in the War of Art. So that was really satisfying for me to hear as someone who has a deep intrigue for the spiritual side of things. But nonetheless, the War of Art is a very powerful book for anybody pursuing any sort of purposeful, meaningful work, any sort of creative expression outlet, any sort of artistic endeavor, anything, entrepreneurship, anything that you are pursuing that is mission oriented, any goal, literally pursuing any goal. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even have to be like some sort of artistic thing. But if you are pursuing what he calls in that book, any sort of desire to move to a higher expression of life, a higher elevation in life, a higher it's like if this is normal life, you're trying to elevate yourself to this higher level, this higher ordeal of existence. And in this path of upward orientation, what is in between that, how do you overcome this enemy in between that, which he calls resistance? And so that book is very powerful, and it talks about this enemy to us expressing our highest self called resistance, and how it shows up in many different manifestations. He goes through like a list of how it expresses itself, this enemy of us expressing our highest self, of us pursuing our purpose, pursuing our goals. And it's different forms that shows up, that enemy shows up as. But one of the ones that he talks about in that book is the resistance in the form of healing. And I think that's kind of what I went through this year or in this year 2 example that we're going over right now, is this, my mental health, my mood, my emotions, my mind is not where I would like it to be, so I'm not going to pursue my purpose work. Like having that be an excuse, having that resistance going to win in that area. So in this year 2, you didn't pursue your calling, you didn't pursue your purpose, and as a result, you are basically distracted in life. You're like a ship without a rudder, I think that's the term, without a purpose, without a direction. You're just floating basically in space on water, in the ocean, without any sort of direction or path or mission that you're pursuing. And as a result of that, you don't feel that contentment, you don't feel that peace, you don't feel that joy, and you don't feel that self-worth, which we'll talk about kind of the fruits of following your purpose more in the next phase of this video, next part of this video. But as a result of not pursuing it, you don't feel that. And you're more easily shaken, I'd say, by life. You don't have that deep groundedness, that deep anchoring in life because you're not pursuing that. And meanwhile, not realizing that your excuse may be, my mental health, this was true in my example, that my mental health is not yet where I want it to be. Meanwhile, not realizing that the purpose, the pursuit of the purpose is medicine in and of itself. One of my favorite spiritual books in the world is A Course in Miracles, and A Course in Miracles has this prayer in it that ends with, and I will be healed as I let you, it's talking about, God, the Holy Spirit, Jesus, etc., as I let you teach me to heal. And basically talking about how, it also talks about how as you teach, you learn. Basically, the teacher is the one who learns. As you give, you receive. It's that, it talks about that, reciprocity that happens, like you will be healed as you heal, meaning that as you show up to do your work, as you show up to give, teach, share your medicine, so to speak, with the world, share your gifts with the world, you not only are you doing that for others, but you are the one that benefits from that tremendously yourself. So that prayer ending with, I will be healed as I let you teach me to heal, or, as I give, I shall receive, or as I teach, I will learn. So yes, you're showing up to help others, to give to others, but you are going to be the one that's going to receive a lot from that yourself. And honestly, maybe even more so than the person who is receiving that. So you not realizing that purpose is medicine. The pursuit of purpose is medicine. The pursuit of your mission is healing. Not realizing that is, a big flaw that I personally had in my basically perspective. So even though on the surface of life everything may have gone well, in terms of like just the kind of like the basic, areas of life, housing, job, etc., relationship, like those things may have gone well, but internally that deep sense of peace and contentment was not there. So it's like on the surface everything has gone well, compared to that year one you did not have that deep sense of contentment, the deep sense of peace. And in a sense it's like you had more fun when things may have not even been going as well. And this was certainly true in my case. Like things on the surface may have not been going as well as they have been in this year two example, but in that year you had more fun, you had deep peace, you had deep contentment. So the surface of life sometimes like does not dictate, and this is something that I learned in my experience, that it doesn't dictate the deep sense of fulfillment and the feelings that you feel inside. So like on the surface things may be going well, but underneath the surface you may not, you may be lacking peace. And that's something that I personally experienced. So that was kind of the contrast between these 2 years. So I wanted you basically to imagine the discrepancy and the difference between these 2 years. And we wanted to look at them to highlight the peace and the contentment that comes from pursuing your purpose, even if things are they may not be looking great on the surface, but that deep peace is what you feel on a daily basis. And in the second year example that we shared, on the surface things may be going well, but you let excuses, you let resistance, quote unquote, get in the way of you pursuing your purpose and being consistent in that, and therefore you did not have that contentment, you did not have that peace. And although things may have gone well on the surface, you lacked that deeper sense of contentment and peace. So that was kind of like the juxtaposition of these 2 years. And now we're going to talk and dive more deeply into the fruits of pursuing your purpose more consistently, and why we should even try to do that. What is the benefit to that? So let's talk about that now. Now we're going to talk about the fruits that come as a result of you pursuing your purpose consistently. Later in the video, we'll talk about how you can possibly try to find your purpose and find your mission and what it is that you feel like you're on this planet for, no big deal. But on the fruit side, I think the first fruit that I have personally experienced in my life is a feeling of contentment. It's a deep feeling of satisfaction and peace in life, a feeling of really a peace that passes understanding, a sense of calmness, confidence within yourself, and contentment. And fulfillment is probably the best word actually. Fulfillment is a deep sense of fulfillment that you feel. And a lot of us honestly don't realize that it's like at the back of our minds, at the back of our experience, there's this deep yet subtle underlying sense of unsatisfaction that we try to fill and overcome with pleasures and fun and things like that. But really it's like any fun that you experience via, pleasure and, trying to like just distract yourself with these activities, it's like a 4 out of 10 on the scale of fun. But like you think this is what life is because you've never experienced like what it could be. And a good example of that is like someone who's been very unhealthy for a long time, who has never experienced like peak health. And until they experience like a sense of true peak health experience, they're not going to know what that feels like. So their normal, their baseline is so far from what it could be or should be, but because that's been their common typical experience, they don't even know what they're missing out on, so to speak. And that's how we are with life. And when we're not pursuing our purpose, when we've never tasted what that feels like, what that tastes like, what that experience is like, we're going through life, maximum at this like 4 out of 10 kind of experience. But once you start experiencing that, once you start pursuing your purpose consistently, day in and day out. And another good book that I want to recommend here is Hero on a Mission by Donald Miller. I talked about this book in my other video called Creativity is Basically the Path to a Meaningful Life. In that book, Donald Miller talks about, the importance of pursuing kind of a meaningful story, as he calls it. I would call it like your purpose, your mission, on a consistent basis, the importance of showing up day in and day out and pursuing that. But basically, when you start experiencing the fruits that come as a result of you pursuing your purpose consistently on a day-to-day basis, you realize that like your level of just natural enjoyment and happiness in life will increase to like a 9 out of 10. And it's uncomparable to anything that you previously experienced. And it's like your eyes are open. It's like you were colorblind and now you can see. You literally glean this new side to life that you never experienced before. Like until you have purposefully pursued your mission, your calling, you don't even realize what you're missing out on. It's like that feeling of deep, subtle unsatisfaction that I talked about earlier, that's there, and you don't even realize like how you would feel if this was gone. And really the antidote to it is to find your purpose, your mission, and pursue it on a consistent basis. And that's why I wanted to gear this video towards the consistent part. Like that's really the key word. You know, pursue your purpose is all great, but like if you don't do it consistently, you don't really reap the fruits of that purpose, of the pursuit of that purpose. It's the consistent factor. It's the consistency that really brings about the fruits. It's like if you planted a seed and you only watered it like once a year, it's not going to bear any fruits, you know, unless that's like some sort of magical seed that only works with one time a year watering. But for the most part, you got to show up consistently, and you are the one that reaps the benefits of that, the fruits of that. So the first fruit I want to talk about, you know, kind of the benefits of pursuing your purpose consistently is contentment. Now let's talk about a second benefit that's a little bit more nuanced, and we're going to talk about it a little bit here now. The second benefit that you'll receive from pursuing your purpose consistently is a deep feeling of self-worth. And this was kind of nuanced and subtle and hard for me to figure out and realize. It took me a while to kind of see the connection between self-worth and the pursuit of purpose. But I think I finally figured it out, and having seen its effect or presence and absence of in my life, the presence of that self-worth resulting or being generated from the pursuit, the consistent pursuit of the purpose versus not having that, what I realize is that the reason you feel this deep sense of self-worth as you pursue your purpose consistently is because you feel like there are all these different paths in life, right? So when you're not pursuing your purpose, you're constantly trying to walk on these paths that are really other people's paths. And there may be a lot of other people that are trying to walk those paths. So you're not really in your lane of destiny, so to speak. You're not trying to walk the path that God has planted for you, has laid for you, so to speak. And you are trying to walk in other people's paths, and they may be a lot better. Other people may be a lot better at walking in those paths because those paths are more created for them than you. So you are constantly comparing yourself, you're not fitting. Like it's not fitting right. It's like a, you know, square peg in a round hole kind of situation. It's not meant for that. But once you figure out your purpose and you start following it consistently following your mission, following your purpose, you start feeling like you're following and stepping on and walking in the path that is genuinely meant for you. And as you do that on a consistent basis, it literally changes your whole life, because now this path is genuinely just meant for you. It's your path. Nobody else's. Nobody else is meant to walk this path. This is yours. And when you do that, when you are literally in your lane 100%, you don't compare yourself anymore like that, you know, to other people, because you're just genuinely satisfied with the path you are walking. It's like you have this feeling of like, I'm good. I'm doing my thing. I'm walking my path. I'm good. And as you are, again, why the consistency is so important in pursuing your purpose is because if you just walk on this path once a year, you're not going to get the benefits. But when you walk on your path day in and day out, you start genuinely feel like I am where I belong. I am doing what I'm meant to do, what I'm supposed to do. And as a result of that, you just feel this deep sense of self-worth and self-validation. Like, I validate myself. I approve of myself. I am worthy as I am. And it all comes, ideally, you want to have that feeling without, any sort of like, oh, I got to pursue my purpose consistently so that I feel that. But this is kind of like the unavoidable return on the investment of pursuing your purpose consistently. That is that you feel that deep feeling of self-worth. You do feel like I am walking on the path that God has planned for me. And therefore you just feel this deep sense of peace and self-worth and self-validation of like, I approve of myself. I don't need anybody. I don't need society to approve of my path because I know I'm walking the path that God has made for me and has set me on. So it's just honestly unexplainable. A lot of these benefits are unexplainable. It's just something you have to experience. I can only just try to point to it and I can only just try to remind myself of it. But it's like exercise, right? Like somebody may sit here and tell you the benefits of exercise, but you're not going to experience the benefits of exercise until you exercise. So it's kind of like the same thing. It's like until you pursue your path consistently, you're not going to feel the benefits. So I'm just trying to point to the benefits, but it's up to you traveling down the path that God has made for you, the path that is right for you, the path of your purpose consistently for you to bear these fruits and experience these feelings. So that is kind of the point two or the second benefit, but I'll just keep it to those two now. Now, in the next section, let's talk a little bit more about how you can possibly start to try to figure out what is your purpose in life. Okay, so in this section, in this kind of last section of the video, these are some of the things that help me identify my purpose, get more and more clear about it, or get more of a certainty about it, so to speak. And it's kind of like it's layers in a sense, in my experience. It's like you keep uncovering like deeper layers to it, and that's totally fine. I think that's how it's supposed to play out. But these layers, these tools that I'm going to talk about help you move through these layers. It's like your purpose keeps revealing itself. It's literally like layers. Like you keep peeling back at these layers and you get closer and closer and closer to that deeper core of what that purpose is, so to speak. But the things that have helped me unravel and peel the layers back of this purpose and get closer to it are as followed. And one thing I do want to mention is that a common theme I have experienced in my life with identifying your purpose is that it feels like in your life, certain things keep coming back. And as you get older, you actually will notice this more, because definitely I started noticing it more as I got older. Like when I feel like the first glimpses of my purpose came to me when I was like maybe 20 or 21, and now I'm 29. And when they first came to me, they were all new, right? So it's like, oh, maybe this is just like a temporary kind of sense of, oh, I think this is my purpose, But certain things keep coming back up for you. And the reason I said as you get older, this becomes more clear, because now you have more years, you have now more reference points. It's like as years start adding up, as 21 turned to 22, 20 to 23 to 24, and so on and so forth, I kept feeling the same thing, the same desire, the same kind of sense of mission, what I want to do, like still being there. It's like, dang, is this thing not going to go away? Like, is this going to show up every year? And it honestly becomes more and more painful, fortunately, as time goes on, for you to not pursue that, because it's literally like trying to knock at the door of your soul, of your mind. Or rather, it's like your soul trying to knock on the door of your mind saying, hey, listen to me, follow me. And it's like, it honestly becomes more and more painful to not follow it. And a lot of people are just living in that painful existence, not realizing what they're missing out on. And that's what's so sad. And when you start pursuing your purpose consistently, you start like developing this vision of seeing how people are not pursuing it. So you become so much more acute and aware of other people not pursuing their purpose, and the deep unsatisfaction and unfulfillment that results in. It becomes more you become more aware of it. It becomes more of an awareness in your awareness. It becomes more noticeable in your life. And it's honestly super painful. And it's something that I genuinely, hope with this video that it helps some people pursue their purpose consistently, because it's like I want everyone to experience what it is that they may be missing out on, because it genuinely unlocks a whole new level to life, a much better level to life. But yeah, I wanted to say, like, as years go on, it's like the purpose keeps knocking at the door. So you start seeing these repeatable themes, these repeatable patterns. It's like this thing is not going away, because there's a lot of interests that come and go. In one phase of life, like I really loved, EDM at one point, and raves and electronic music, etc., and DJing. But that's not at all the thing that interests me anymore, right? So like that is not necessarily a deep purpose for me. It was something that I really was interested in and I pursued, and it helped unlock like a deeper sense of purpose, but it wasn't the purpose, so to speak. But there are things that don't go away. At least that's been in my experience. And so having more years helps you get clear. So if you are, a little bit older and you're watching this video, then think about what are some of the things that have just not gone away, certain interests that have not gone away year in and year out. Years keep going on, but this interest does not. Listen to that, because that's that purpose trying to get your attention. It's like, bro, life is short. Like, listen to me, follow me. Like, what better way to spend your life than to follow this path that's meant for you? You know what I mean? So, just a lot of people are not doing that, and it's genuinely sad. But these 5 or 6 things that I'm going to share with you now are things that have helped me uncover that purpose to a much higher degree. The first thing that really helped me, and I think it helps anyone, is meditation, because your purpose resides in the quietest place of your soul and of your mind. So if you're not quieting your mind, you're not tapping into that quiet, still small voice, that whisper of your soul, that whisper of your spirit. You're not listening to that. You're not tapping into that. And everything in the world is kind of like directed towards getting you away from that. Like all the dopamine and all the stimulants and stimulation of just a normal life, of whatever it may be, social media, just life in general. It's very overstimulating, and it's trying to get your awareness away from, that purpose. And it's like, not to get like super deep, but it's almost like the Matrix. Life, if you look at it like in the movie Matrix, like if life is like the Matrix, like the normal life, it's trying to suck your energy in a sense. It's like it's trying to say, give your energy to me instead of investing it in yourself. And so it's like very outward focused, very distracted, very noisy, very loud. And a lot of it is geared towards getting you away from your purpose, because the more you're away from your purpose, the more likely you are to help someone else on their purpose and help them pursue their purpose. And you become like an energy, a factory of like producing energy for like the machines, like in the movie Matrix. You become like a battery for that. But when you're pursuing your purpose, you're not a battery for someone else's purpose. You are pursuing your path. You are the commander in chief of your life. And it's genuinely so satisfying. But meditation helps you quiet your mind so that you can listen to that deep, still, small voice, that whisper of God, that whisper of your spirit that talks to you in those quiet moments, in those quiet times. And as someone who's done personally psychedelics, it's like what I learned from those experiences is that I just finally quieted my mind through that experience. So it's like what I got from those experiences was that like there was this quiet whisper in my mind all the time. I just was so loud that I did not hear this, and that those experiences helped me quiet my mind. But meditation is even a much more powerful tool, I believe, than those things. Those things may be able to help temporarily point the way and show you another kind of side to life, or like what you could be listening to that deep desire, deep purpose. But it's not the the permanent fix. Meditation, though, is something you can do every day, and it's genuinely so beneficial, and it's something I've done, every day for many years now, and it's something that keeps helping you dive more deeply into that purpose, and helps reveal it more and more, because that purpose reveals itself through that still small voice that is within you. That's the voice of your spirit. It's the voice of God guiding you on this path of life. And you realize as you listen to it more and more that there's most certainly a path laid out for you. It's that most people just don't listen to it. So as you listen to it, you become more aware of it. And then as you pursue it, you become even more certain of it. And that's something that meditation can help you start. It's a journey that meditation can help you walk. So I highly recommend meditation as tool number 1. Tool number 2 is journaling or talking to a camera. This is actually my first experience of truly, genuinely feeling like I discovered my purpose. I actually have this on camera, funny enough, so I may down the road release it one time. But I was in my old college apartment at the age of 20, and I was just so frustrated of not feeling like I know my purpose. So I had this brilliant idea at the time to, instead of journaling, which is something I did all the time, and I do think is very beneficial, and that's why I'm recommending it now. But I thought, why don't I just try to kind of video journal? Because I do get a lot of clarity when I talk, when I hear myself talk to other people. And this seems very selfish, so I'm not going to take other people's time trying to get clarity for myself by talking to them out loud and hear myself explain things. But why don't I just set a camera in my house and start talking to it as if it's another person? And through talking out loud and thinking out loud, maybe I can get more clear as to why I'm here. Basically, what's the purpose? What's the point of me? What am I here to do? What am I here to pursue? What is that calling? And it was the first ever experience of purpose in my life. I genuinely, honestly cried. I had the video. It's I teared up, and it hit me so powerfully that this is what I'm meant to do. It hit me in that moment. The clarity came as to what I am supposed to do just through talking out loud, just through the sheer experience of talking to a third person. So video journaling and journaling, these two are, kind of go hand in hand, but they are also very separate. So I recommend both journaling and video journaling, or talking to a camera. Those can really help you. A really great book that I actually made a review of on my channel is called The Way of the Superior Man. And The Way of the Superior Man talks a lot about purpose. And the way that he recommends is quiet or solitude. Basically, he recommends for as long as you can, whether it's a day or a weekend or a week, if you can somehow create a situation that you are completely distraction free. No phone, no other people, no movies, no Netflix, no nothing, right? Just no internet, just completely are able to sit in that quiet, in that solitude with yourself, just with your thoughts, just by yourself. And through that quiet, still small voice that we're able to so easily drown out with distractions, it becomes louder. And that's something that I truly believe happened for a lot of people at the beginning of the pandemic in 2020, is that voice started becoming more clear for them, because it was always there, but as we were in our day-to-day routines in life, we were distracted enough not to listen to it. And it only leads to a painful existence, in my humble opinion, when you don't listen to it, because it's trying to help you. And sometimes it makes your life just progressively gets more and more miserable as you don't listen to it. And I genuinely think that's a gift. It's trying to say, bro, the way you're living is not in alignment. That's why you feel so much friction. That's why your path seems so just not right. It's like a shoe that doesn't fit. It's just not yours. And as you listen to it more and more through meditation, journaling, video journaling, you become more and more confident that there is a path for you. And as you start walking down it, your life just becomes so much better. Maybe not on the surface. On the surface, things may fall apart because you have created a false identity and are walking down a false path. So there is a lot of breakdown before there is a breakthrough, before you have to get rid of the old sometimes until you step on the new. So there may be that period of friction initially, but then it leads into a much more harmonious life and existence. So again, meditation, journaling, and video journaling are the few tools that I recommend in order to help you find your purpose. Another thing that I highly recommend you pay attention to in order to help you find your purpose is keep notice or keep track of, or take notice or keep track of what people have complimented you on a lot throughout your life. Like, oh, you're so good at this, or like, when I'm with you, I feel X. Whatever it may be, keep track of that, keep notice of that, because that is something that, another concept that I think is very helpful here to mention is called Ikigai. I'll put a chart, and, hardcore, like OG, Ikigai, people who study Ikigai or Ikigai will say that this is not like the most accurate, representation of the concept. But nonetheless, whatever this concept is, as shown in this chart, I do find it to be very helpful. And so this chart kind of, in a sense, talks about like what people may have complimented you on in your life. Like, what is that thing that a lot of people say like you're good at? Pay attention to that. And not just good at, but like, people have said, hey, you make me feel like this, like, you have this effect on me. And whatever it may be an actual skill that you have, or maybe more like a personality trait. Like, take notice of that, because that may be, and most certainly is in a lot of cases, a big part of your purpose. Because your purpose is like this thing that uses your persona and your identity and who you are as this unique manifestation of infinite intelligence, infinite consciousness. It's like you are this once in a lifetime expression of that bigger thing that we may call God. You are an expression, a note of that melody, and like, you are your persona and your uniqueness is what that purpose will use. It's like you are a vehicle for this higher purpose, and your uniqueness plays a big part at what this purpose can express. And it's like why it's chosen you. It's like, I had a little Facebook status that was inspired one time. I said, you don't choose your purpose chooses you. And I don't know if that's true or not 100%, but it just sounded right to me that like your purpose, there are missions. I truly believe that there are missions that's like, you don't have to follow me on this in terms of like the spirituality of it, but it's like there, in my personal viewpoint, there are missions that God wants to carry out into the world to help the world, to help save the world, because like the world needs saving in a lot of ways. It does. And those missions need people that fit those missions to carry them out. And a show that I really like to watch is called The Chosen, and I just saw its season 3 kind of movie that's in the theaters right now. Episode 1 and 2, they've put them in the movie theaters. And The Chosen is about the story of Jesus, but it's more so about the story of the disciples of Jesus. And it's like they have their missions given to them, and those missions are also very much in accordance to the personality attributes of those disciples. So it's like our missions are given this purpose. Your purpose, I genuinely believe, is bigger than you. Like, it's something that may have existed before you even come into this world. Like, it may have, and I do believe that the purpose was there before you were even born. Like, that purpose, it's like you were born for that purpose, for the carrying out of that mission. And that mission uses your uniqueness, your persona. And it's like in that show Chosen, it's like the purpose is given by God, by Jesus, but the personality of those disciples help them carry out the mission in their own unique way. So the mission, the purpose comes from God, and then you carry it, and it's given to the right people. The right missions are given to the right people who can carry out those missions based on who they are, based on their attributes. And so I do think taking notice of what people have complimented you on can really help you tremendously in identifying in your mission, because your mission will use those attributes for its fulfillment. So take notice of that for sure. And the last thing that I do believe will help you in following your purpose, or not only following your purpose, but finding your purpose, is following your inspirations and intuition. So as you meditate, this actually becomes a lot more easy to figure out and hear. As you meditate and as your mind quiets more and more, you start hearing your intuition, your inspirations more. You get more inspired and it's more clear. You have intuitions about what you should do, or certain deep inspirations kind of bubble up within you that you want to pursue. And my encouragement in order to find your purpose is to follow those inspirations, because those inspirations are like breadcrumbs that are leading you towards something else. So it's like you follow like clue A, and then clue A leads you to clue B, and you just keep following that trail of your inspiration, and it's leading you somewhere. So follow those inspirations, follow your intuition, because it may play a huge part. It definitely does play a huge part in helping you reveal and unravel your purpose and get more clear as to what it is. So those are some of the things that I want to share about why, or what things can help you in finding your purpose, becoming more clear about that. But the reason I made this video, and the reason I wanted to talk about why it's important to consistently pursue your purpose, pursue your calling, pursue your mission. And if you don't know what that is, as we, as I talked in the last chapter, in the last section of this video, find it, because make that your purpose right now. It's like, if you don't know what that is, try to figure out what it is, and then the second step is to pursue it consistently. But the reason I wanted to make this video about, why you should pursue your purpose consistently is because, as I said, kind of in the intro, I compared those 2 years. Those 2 years were, for me, year one was 2021 and year two was this year, year 1 was year 2021 and year 2 was year 2022, this year. And so December has always felt like the Sunday of the year to me. And it's the time that I get pretty reflective on the previous year. And this contrast between these 2 years has taught me a lot about the importance of pursuing your purpose consistently, because in 2021 I did so, and I saw the fruits that it produces in your life. And in 22, I didn't pursue my purpose, and I saw the downfall of that, the pain that comes from that. But I just wanted to encourage you. This year of hardship, this year of 2022 has taught me, it's opened my heart and it's humbled me in a lot of ways, where I don't feel the desire anymore to show up here and try to be a teacher. I feel the desire to be a friend and just talk to you about what's helped me, and just, from one friend to another, like this, and what I need to hear myself. It's like what's helped me, what I've learned, and share that with you in hopes that it helps you. So this has helped me. Pursuing my purpose consistently in 2021 and then not doing it in 22 showed me just the amount of fruits that it produces in your life in the form of deep satisfaction, deep fulfillment, that I feel like so many of us are missing out on. So I want to share that with you to encourage you to pursue your passion, your calling, your purpose consistently. Find it and pursue it, because there are fruits that await you, and I want you to experience those on a consistent basis. So I hope that this video and this encouragement helps you, and I hope that you take action on it and see the fruits of it for yourself. So thank you for watching. Again, my name is PJ, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. And if you enjoyed this video, please like it, so that lets me know that this type of content resonates. And if you would like, please subscribe to my channel so that you see more videos from me on your homepage on YouTube. Thank you, and I will talk to you guys very soon. Bye.